Why do you always feel an irresistible pull towards those critical, perhaps somewhat distant men? Or conversely, why do you constantly attract men into your life who need fixing, who need guiding, men you have to mother? Maybe, without even realizing it, you're searching for a reflection of your father, or replaying an unfinished battle with him in your relationships. Is there an authoritative voice inside you, constantly telling you what to do, judging you, even opposing your own intuition? If these questions resonate somewhere deep within you, you're not alone. Because according to Carl Jung, hidden within every woman is a secret masculine power that profoundly influences her life, her choices, and her relationships, the Animus. And until you confront this inner figure, finding your true potential and healthy relationships might seem almost impossible. Have you ever wondered why you sometimes argue so fiercely with yourself, hearing that relentlessly critical, judgmental, or irrationally stubborn voice within? Why you harbor an inexplicable anger or admiration for certain men? Or why you consistently face the same kinds of problems in your relationships, feeling misunderstood, feeling controlled, or conversely, never finding that strong stance you expect from a partner? Perhaps you're highly successful in your career, but can't seem to find that balance in your personal life. Or maybe you're in a loving relationship, yet deep down, there's a restlessness, a voice whispering there must be more, pushing you towards new, undefined pursuits. The root of these inner tensions, these unexplainable urges, and those recurring disappointments in relationships often lies in the shadowy or underdeveloped manifestations of the animus in your unconscious. Just as a man projects his anima, a woman, unknowingly, can project her own animus onto men externally, leading to complex and often painful dynamics. Carl Jung stated that within every woman's psyche, there exists an inherited masculine essence, and masculine archetype from the collective unconscious, which he named the Animus. The Animus is much more than just an inner man image. It represents a woman's way of thinking, her logic, her rationality, her beliefs, her opinions, her actions towards the outer world, and her assertiveness. At the same time, just as the anima can be a man's spiritual guide, the animus can mediate a woman's creativity, her intellectual pursuits, and her discovery of her own inner authority. It is often shaped by her experiences with her father and other significant masculine figures in her life. According to Jung, when a woman doesn't cultivate a conscious relationship with her own animus, this inner masculine power either manifests negatively as a shadow animus, becoming a destructive inner critic or a dogmatic judge within her, or it is projected onto men in the external world. So how might this inner masculine figure, the animus, be subtly directing your life without you even noticing? Perhaps you recognize that sharp, internal voice, the one that relentlessly criticizes you and those around you, never quite satisfied with anything. This is one of the most common shadow manifestations, what Jung called the critical judge animus. This inner voice often erodes your own self-confidence and leads you to constantly find fault in your relationships. You might find yourself, unknowingly, using accusatory, draining language towards your partner, like, "You're never good enough," or "Why on earth did you do it like that?" Or maybe you often find yourself in the midst of arguments, blindly believing your opinions are absolute truth, your tolerance for other viewpoints diminishing as you try to impose your own. This could point to another face of the animus, the one Jung described as the all-knowing dogmatist. An internal monologue of "I know best," or "what I say is right," can be a sign that the animus has taken your thoughts captive. And what about your relationships? When you haven't yet fully embraced your own inner strength and authority, it's highly likely you're projecting your animus onto men externally. This can manifest as the power-seeking animus projection. Perhaps you feel an irresistible admiration for men you perceive as strong, authoritative, or successful. Or conversely, you find yourself in a constant power struggle with them, as if you have to prove your worth against theirs. In either case, this projection can be an obstacle to discovering your own true potential. Sometimes this projection works in the opposite way. By rejecting your own inner masculine power, that assertive, action-oriented side, you might project your animus onto figures of the weak and needs-to-be-saved man. You might be attracting men into your life whom you constantly feel the need to fix, guide, or even mother. This too is another complex way of trying to live out your inner masculine potential externally. Of course, the animus doesn't only have shadow aspects. As a positive manifestation, the spiritual or intellectual guide animus can draw you towards profound intellectual pursuits, philosophical inquiries, or a spiritual path. But there's a trap here too. If you completely idealize this quest and project it onto an external guru, master, or wise man figure, you might struggle to hear the voice of your own inner wisdom, to find your own answers. That external guide can then stand in the way of discovering the potential of your own animus. One of the most crucial warnings in Jung's animus theory is that an unconscious or unintegrated animus can be extremely destructive, both in a woman's inner world and in her relationships. Remember, the animus itself is not bad. The problem arises when no conscious relationship is formed with it, when it remains in shadow, or when it is unhealthily projected outwards. And when the animus does lurk in the shadows, unacknowledged and unintegrated, Jung warns us that its influence can be profoundly destructive, rippling through both your inner world and your relationships. Imagine, for instance, the inner sabotage it can orchestrate. This shadowy animus can actively suppress your innate creativity, your intuition, that deep well of emotional intelligence that is so essentially feminine. Instead, it might trap you in a relentless cycle of, "You must be logical, don't get carried away by your emotions," caging your spirit within rigid, limiting beliefs that stifle your true expression. Then consider the conflict it breeds in your relationships. An unintegrated animus can thrust you into constant competition and power struggles with your partner. You might find yourself belittling his ideas, making him feel inadequate, or, in a different manifestation, you might swing to the other extreme, adopting an overly dependent and passive role, still dictated by an unconscious animus dynamic. This inner turmoil inevitably leads to unhappiness and a pervasive loss of meaning. By preventing you from expressing your authentic self, the shadow animus can leave you with a deep sense of dissatisfaction, a feeling that something vital is missing. You might transform into someone constantly seeking external approval, or conversely, someone who relentlessly tries to impose her own opinions, never finding true inner peace. And in its most extreme forms, Jung spoke of animus possession. This is when a woman can seem completely taken over by her animus. In this state, she might appear disconnected from her own feminine nature, becoming excessively logical, seemingly emotionless, rigid, and dogmatically certain of her views. Her capacity for empathy can diminish significantly, and she may often unintentionally inflict considerable pain on those around her. So, how can a woman cultivate a healthier relationship with her own animus and unlock its positive potential? Here are steps, guided by Jung. Recognize the animus. Observe your own thought patterns, beliefs, and especially your judgments or expectations concerning men. Try to notice that critical or dogmatic voice within. Try to understand in which situations the animus takes control. Examine the relationship with father and masculine figures. The animus is often influenced by the relationship with the father figure. Honestly analyzing this relationship can provide important clues about how your animus has been shaped. Strengthen emotional intelligence and intuition, the eros principle. The animus logos logic should generally be balanced with the woman's feminine principle, eros relatedness, emotion, intuition. Learning to trust your own feelings and intuitions more can balance the excessively rational or critical influence of the animus. Creative expression. The animus, like the anima, is also connected to creativity. Expressing your ideas, thoughts, and insights through writing, art, discussion, or any constructive action can help channel animus energy positively. Develop inner authority. Instead of being overly dependent on others' approval or external authority, learn to trust your own inner wisdom and judgment. Form your own opinions and values. Cultivate more realistic relationships with men. Avoid idealizing or demonizing men wholesale. Try to see them as individuals with their own strengths and weaknesses. Recognizing and withdrawing animus projections is fundamental for healthier, more egalitarian relationships. The journey of individuation. Animus integration is a crucial part of a woman's journey of individuation. This is the process of achieving her own wholeness, developing both her masculine and feminine aspects in a balanced way. When you cultivate a conscious and constructive relationship with your own animus, you can experience a tremendous transformation in your life. That destructive inner critic can evolve into a wise guide. That dogmatic judge can mature into sharp analytical intelligence and clear discernment. You become a more self-assured individual, assertive in your own opinions yet also flexible and empathetic. You experience more balance, understanding, and true partnership in your relationships. By discovering your own inner strength and authority, you can take bolder steps towards realizing your dreams. The animus, when correctly understood and integrated, can be one of a woman's greatest allies. It is the power that connects you to the world, enables you to translate your ideas into action, and helps you express the wisdom within. This inner exploration is just the beginning. There are countless more truths awaiting you in the chaotic depths of your soul. How do you experience your own animus? In which situations do you hear its voice most clearly? Share your own insights and experiences in the comments. Remember, on this journey of inner discovery, we can all illuminate the path for one another. If you enjoyed exploring this mysterious aspect of the female psyche and wish to delve further into the depths of your mind, don't forget to subscribe to Chaotic Depths and like this video, because every archetype within us is a doorway to a more whole self.